Hello everyone, back to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's video. So day 10 is going to take us to around the 30th of June actually, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECL ensembles running to around a couple of weeks. And have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That will take us through more or less to the end of July. So the weekend forecast has been released. It's a little bit of a classic today, a little bit of a classic weekend forecast. As we're going to have our first proper heat of the summer, really, although we did have it very warm during May, of course. But our first real heat of the summer is on the way. And we're going to be seeing temperatures going up to 30 degrees, probably in excess of 30 degrees down in the southeast next week. So it is going to be turning hot. I think there's enough to say heat wave, really, certainly for a few days next week. And have a look at the weekend forecast and see what's going on there. It could all go bang in around a week's time at the end of next week. So very, very interesting weekend forecast today. We've got the Beijing Climate Centre versus CFS V2 6-month mashup coming up for you tonight. That'll be around 6, 7 o'clock. We'll have a laugh and we'll see what the two long-range models from America and China, going head-to-head with one another, have got to say. And as I say, that'll be coming up tonight, probably around 6 o'clock, something like that, I would have thought. Loads going on tomorrow, and I'll talk you through all of that at the end of this video. But before I do anything else, I was going to say hello and thank you so much to our latest GavsWeatherVids channel member. We are getting through the list now, so we haven't got too many more to do. But thank you so much, everybody, for becoming channel members and patrons and donors for GavsWeatherVids. We've still got a new patron to shout out as well. I think we do that on Monday, and then a couple more channel members, and then we'll be through the list. So I did get very, very behind, but I've been trying to give everybody their own individual shout out. So today's channel member is Richard Trott, my good friend Richard, from the comment box at GavsWeatherVids, and also Richard helps us out with our longer range stuff, and GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup as well. So thank you so much, Richard, for becoming a GavsWeatherVids channel member. That is absolutely great. That's absolutely fantastic, and thank you so much, Richard, for doing that. Thank you to all channel members and all patrons and all donors as well. I think Richard is a patron as well, so the support is just phenomenal that you all give me. I say it day after day, but I really, I really mean it. But I'm absolutely blown away by the support that you give us, and especially over the past few weeks and months. It's been pretty tough for everybody due to the virus. I mean, just absolutely fantastic what you've done for GavsWeatherVids. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. Thank you as well. Special thank you to Richard Trott. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing that. Thank you to subscribers as well. Our subs are still going up, so we are now sitting at 6,852 or 3 subscribers, I think. On the YouTube homepage, it says 6,850. So we're trying to get this up to 7K by the end of the summer. I think it's on course, just about to do this. So if you haven't subbed the channel yet, please can you give us a sub, and let's get the subs to 7K as quickly as we can, and that will be then the target. But I set myself, and I really shouldn't have done it. I really shouldn't have set myself that target, but that'll be the target met anyway when we do get to 7K. Thank you so much, everybody, for subbing, and also don't forget to like the videos as well. Give us a thumbs up on videos. Let us know, let YouTube know that you're enjoying the videos, and comment as well, share the videos and whatnot. It's absolutely fantastic way that you all get involved and help to support GavsWeatherVids. So thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, let's get on video. We're going to start off by having a look at the Central England temperature. So this other CT is currently looking provisional to the 19th, to yesterday. We're standing at 14.5. That's an anomaly of 0.6 of a degree above average. So just a little bit above average. It's not been an excessively warm month at all so far. Although obviously with hot weather on the way, that is going to get a boost. Quite a big boost over the next week or so. So when we look at this next Saturday, it will be interesting to see where that's at. I suspect it will be somewhere in the mid-15s at the very least. I'm sure we'll be able to put on a degree on that, probably more actually, over the next week. So that's going to be interesting to look at next Saturday, I think. These are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days, with the ECMWF on the top and the GFS on the bottom. So 500 millibars is now in the absolute high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by the jet stream. And red extrapolates high pressure and blue to low pressure. You can see that these are for the 7 to 10 day time frame, which takes us pretty much to the end of June now. You can see that with the ECM, got below average heights up to our north, low pressure to our north, high pressure ridging in from the Atlantic into Western Europe with jet stream, doing something a little bit like that. So westerly and Atlantic driven really as we go into the 7 to 10 day time frame, but with the caveat that high pressure is relatively close by, so it's certainly not going to be particularly wet if that comes off. In fact, for the south there's probably a lot of dry weather on offer, but the north is likely to be a little bit more showery. So the GFS is very similar, but also has a deeper low pressure. So it does have a ridge kind of to our south and southeast as well. So this is all sort of high pressure around here, but it does have a rather deeper area of low pressure to our northwest. And so obviously that is a more unsettled scenario for more parts of the country, with jet stream doing something a little bit like that. So that's more unsettled, but at the same time, it's not overly bad. I mean, it's not a washout pattern. The southern southeastern areas is still quite a bit of dry weather on offer, being close to the ridge of high pressure, but most unsettled conditions in the north and the west. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Lincoln today. So this is another suggested place to look at for this part of the video. If you'd like to have your local town or city featured within this section of the video, then please let us know either by emailing us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com, asking us through the comments, or we're across social media, so we're very, very easy to get hold of. So, yes, this is how the upper air temperatures are looking in terms of 30-year average. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature, 30-year average. We're starting off a little bit above average at the moment. We're going to go a little bit cooler, actually, in just in the next sort of 24, 48 hours. But then from around Monday onwards, the temperatures lift up. And next week, we have got hot weather coming, as we've been saying. We're going to see the upper air temperatures going to somewhere between 10 and 15 Celsius at 850 HPA, and down on the surface, I think that gets us to 30 degrees, 86 Fahrenheit, probably in excess of 30 degrees in the southeast. So as we come to the end of June and into the first week of July, we see the temperatures beginning to slide then. They drop back to be close to average. Possibly just one or two hints very late on, which is around sort of 5th, 6th, 7th of July, right at the very end of the ensemble. Possibly just a few hints then, but the upper air temperatures are beginning to warm up again, perhaps. But I mean, that's like 2 weeks away, so that's too far out to have any sort of confidence in. In the reliable time frame, the storyline is one of becoming hotter or hot in the week ahead, and then dropping down through the last days of June and the opening days of July. Precipitation-wise, some showery rain to come tonight. We're going to have wet and windy weather coming across the country tonight. Once that's out of the way, essentially we're dry then until the end of next week, where we might pick up some thunderstorms as the temperatures cool down through the first week of July, generally looking cool and showery then, or cooler and showery. Temperature anomalies from the 20th, 28th of June are going to be above average, not just for the UK, but through most parts of Europe. Warmest anomaly to average is across Scandinavia, where we are around 8 to 10 degrees above average. For the UK and Ireland, we're talking about 2 to 4 above average. It's going to be a warm week. Precipitation anomalies from the 20th to 28th of June. A little bit wetter than average for the northwest of the country, drier than average in the south and southeast. I would suspect these start to trend drier in the next couple of days. This is how the UK Met Office model is looking for Tuesday, with high pressure sitting to our south and east, low pressure out to the north and west. There is a weather front that will bring outbreaks of rain to the northwest through there, West Scotland, Northern Ireland. But the ridge of high pressure across Germany, northern France and the Low Countries, that will bring dry and increasingly warm weather to England and Wales. Wednesday sees a high pressure to our east, low pressures out to west. Winds are pushing up from the south-southeast. It turns hot. I think Wednesday sees temperature reaching 30 degrees somewhere like London. And the heat is maintained into Thursday as well. Just perhaps a suggestion of a few thundery showers breaking out on Thursday, but it will be a hot day, particularly in the southeast. And then that's Friday. Again, I think by Friday we are beginning to wobble the atmosphere quite a lot. We've got this high pressure to our east, of course very hot air surging northwards with that ridge, but got low pressure out to the west. And it looks like we're starting to generate thundery lows across France. This is a heat low across Spain as well. All looking very, very plumy, I think. Very plumy by 144 hours Friday. And definitely a suggestion of not only hot air coming up from the south with this Spanish plume, but also the chance of some really big thunderstorms as well. That's as far as we can go with the UK map. This is how the GFS is looking for Tuesday. Again, high pressure sits over to our east, low pressure out to the northwest. Winds are pushing up from the south-southeast. It's turning hotter. That's Wednesday, looking mainly dry and very warm to hot across many parts of the country. Thursday, also another hot day, particularly in the south. And the atmosphere just beginning to wobble a bit and generate one or two scattered thunderstorms, but most places probably dry on Thursday. And then on Friday, this is the breakdown. So we've got the low pressure just here, the main low is out to west of us, but also bringing some low pressure up from the south. So we've got a pincer movement going on, a trough of low pressure coming up from the south, a heat low, and also got this low pressure coming in from the west. They're sort of amalgamating. And the suggestion is definitely there for thunderstorms on Friday. We push that through as we go through to Saturday, and we go into a cooler, fresher westerly wind then, with sunshine and showers. So it's a cooler weekend, this last weekend of June, with sunshine and showers across the country. Heading up towards day 10, that's how we're looking. Generally rather cool and showery. And then we move into extended range, which particular GFS run does actually look quite cool and showery moving through the first week of July. As far as we get to today is to Monday, the 6th of July, where we've got low pressure to our east, high pressure to our west, putting down a northerly wind. So quite cool and showery through the first week of July on this particular GFS run. That's how the GM is looking. So again, we're watching the high pressure building up to our south and southeast on Tuesday. Low pressure is out to the north and the west. Wednesday looks hot across many parts of the country. Thursday is also a hot day, particularly in the south and southeast. As the upper air temperatures. Now you remember that the GM has been bringing in the plus 20 Celsius isotherm from the south for the second half of next week. It looked like an outrageous outlier, but it did it on a couple of successive runs, I think 3 in a row. However, it has toned that down today. So we do still bring up the plus 15 Celsius isotherm, though. That gets a long way into England and Wales. And if you're within that, you are generally going to get temperatures to 30 degrees or more. So it's plenty hot enough, even without the plus 20 Celsius isotherm getting involved. By Friday, the suggestion is for thunderstorms to be breaking out with this thundery low coming in from both south and from the west. Upper air temperatures are still looking hot, particularly in the southeast. Lots of energy available for storms, therefore. And as we go through the end of the week and into the weekend, then some cooler air starts to move in from off the Atlantic behind that thundery breakdown. Heading up towards day 10, looks like we're having to go at re-establishing the high pressure again. So unlike what the GFS is showing for that first week of July, which goes cool and showery on the GFS, this would actually be suggesting pretty warm pretty warm conditions, a return to dry weather actually as we get to day 10. As the upper air temperatures with the GM looking really quite warm. And then the ECM looks like this. So high pressures to our southeast, low pressures out to our northwest on Tuesday. This is the beginning of the hot spell. Wednesday and Thursday will both be hot days, particularly for the south and the southeast, with temperatures going into the 30s. There's the upper air temperatures for Thursday. Again, the 15 Celsius isotherm is involved. So if you're within that 15 Celsius isotherm, it will generally be, you'll generally be able to get the temperature to 30 degrees or more. Depends on sunshine, but I think this is going to see a temperature get to 30 and probably exceed it for the southeast on on Wednesday and Thursday, possibly for Friday as well. Friday just beginning to start to wobble the atmosphere a little bit. Upper air temperature still looking hot. And then low pressure coming in from the Atlantic as we go through to the weekend. That turns to cooler and fresher. I think there's less of a suggestion of a thundery breakdown with the ECM though. So that breakdown at the end of the week probably doesn't involve all that much in the way of thunder. It probably just involves a cold front coming in from the northwest, and quite a weak cold front at that. Just bringing a band of cloud, showery rain, and dropping the temperature by several degrees. As we get to day 10, we've got this low pressure up to the north of Scotland. Has still got relatively high pressure though over and to the south of the country. And if you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see that the heat is not far away at all with the ECM at day 10. And in fact, we have got the 20 Celsius ice firm, plus 20 Celsius ice firm, across the middle part of France. Not all that far away at all, and it wouldn't be out of the realms of impossibility that if this low pressure was to go in that direction, that we would probably start to inflate the ridge over France and bring up some of that very intense heat into the UK through the opening days of July. So although that GFS run has gone cool and showery during the first week of July, I wouldn't totally rule out the chance of some very extreme heat either, to be honest. As long as you've got such hot upper air temperatures over France as that, and that is very hot, the upper air temperature that we've got over France there at day 10. As long as you've got that, you've got to be watching out. 25 Celsius ice firm is even getting into the south of France. This is something that we saw a little bit of last summer, you'll remember. Now, there's no suggestion there at this point, because we can only go to day 10. So there's no suggestion there at this point that we bring that very extreme heat up from the south. But it is one to watch. Right, moving on to the precipitation. So this is how the rainfall is looking with that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So we've got wet and windy weather coming in from the west today. Of course, that crosses the country tonight. Shortest night of the year, of course. After tonight, nights are going to lengthen and days will get shorter and will eventually descend into winter darkness. How's that for a cheery thought? We go through to tomorrow. We've got showers and longer spells of rain in the north, but the south looks mostly dry. And then into next week, the rain is mainly in the north, mainly dry in the south. As we go through the week, it turns increasingly dry and hot, of course, as we've already established. Possibly some thunderstorms towards the end of next week, more for northern parts of the country. It's not a classic thundery breakdown. And then moving into more extended range, heading up towards day 10. Again, the emphasis is on dry weather, really, although it does turn wet up in the north. And probably stays pretty warm, actually, down in the south. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 30th of June via the Icelandic Met Office. 32 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north. High pressure is to our south. Winds are in from a westerly direction. For the south, it's mainly dry. For the north, it's a little bit unsettled and is a little bit cooler, especially in northern areas. That includes the control and the operational ECM run. 19 members of the ECM ensembles, just with more of an anticyclonic influence, really. These will be drier and also warmer at day 10. 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 5th of July. Have 19 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north, bringing in a westerly flow, rather cool and showery. 16 with low pressure to our east, a ridge in the Atlantic, and winds coming in from the north. That's going to be potentially very cool and showery. And then 16 just here, going for high pressure to be more or less over top of the country. That's a dry and warm scenario. Potentially, depending on what's happening with the heat over France, even quite hot. And then finally CFSV2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 20th, 26th of June. The coming week will be hot with high pressure to the east and southeast country, low pressure out to the northwest. Winds pushing up from the south. That's going to be hot in week 1. Week 2, it looks like this. It's the 27th of June to the 3rd of July. High pressure to our east, low pressure to the west. A little bit cooler and more unsettled there as we go into the opening days of July. Week 3 is the 4th to the 10th of July. High pressure then ridges in from the southwest. It turns drier and probably quite a lot warmer as well. And then week 4 is going to be the 11th to the 17th of July. Again, quite anticyclonic. The ridge is just to our west, so not overly hot. Winds are probably coming in from a north-northeasterly direction. But with high pressure blocking off the Atlantic, quite a bit of dry weather. So July is looking pleasant there. Not excessively hot, but certainly pleasant and nice and warm. But, of course, the main storyline in the next few days is going to be the heat that's coming up in the next few days. It is going to get hotter in the coming days. Temperatures are going to get into the 30s through Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday too. Brings on the chance of a thundery breakdown. Next weekend looks cooler and more showery, and then we wait and see where we go as we move into the beginning of July. Right, don't forget to check out weekend forecasts, and of course, later on we're going to have our FSB2 versus Beijing Climate Center 6-month look ahead. It's going to be America versus China. Be interesting to see what the two models are showing around 6 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow, well, we've got a busy day coming up. We're going to have our second autumn analogues update. We'll have GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup. It's back after a week off. We're going to have the ECM2F, Meteo France, and DWD long range update tomorrow as well. And there will be live streaming from 6 o'clock. No, it won't be live streaming from 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock tomorrow we'll have our live stream, and with that one we're going to have a look at Beijing Climate Center for winter of 2020-21. That's the live stream from 5 o'clock tomorrow. For this video though, that's it for now. We'll see you later on for the 6-month look at. So come back for that then. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.